So welcome. Great to see such a large crowd. The last time that we were together with groups face to face, we did an event in Charlottetown back in October of 2019. So we're happy to have everybody showing up tonight before the storm. And we had to change our plans. We're supposed to be bumped in tomorrow night, but we took care of it this afternoon. So this is our third show in 2 nights. So we're quite happy to be here with you and give you kind of an idea of some of the tours we've got planned with a couple of great partners. So tonight we're going to kind of talk a little bit about the target tours. If some of you are seeing us for the first time, we'll also introduce Valerie Levine from Celebrity Cruise. She'll give a presentation, and we'll also have Jonathan Sargent from Royal Irish Tours, and also a little bit of the Hawaii Group probably. But first, we are doing Facebook Live. So for those who are online on Facebook, you can watch it live. And this will be broadcast in our YouTube channel after tonight. So a little bit of target tours. We are 15 years in business this year, so we're pretty happy with that. Detailed, thoughtful, planned group vacations, that's what we do. So we do group vacations. A lot of you have been on our tours before, so you know kind of the extra detail that we provide. Multiple departures across Atlantic Canada. We do pickup points throughout Nova Scotia and Brunswick and PEI, but also when we're flying, we also do Charlottetown as one of our major airports. And we're developing itineraries to be more freedom for you to choose what you want to do. So we might schedule something in the morning, a tour, a visit, museum visit, but in the afternoon, we'll leave you free time to go with yourself, do whatever you want to do. But if you're not comfortable, you can still follow your tour director. There'll be something that they'll have planned. We wouldn't be anywhere without our team, our office team. So we've got Lindsay down here. She's our video person. We've got Caitlin at the back. Caitlin's office team. We've got Ian who does our inbound coordination. And our frontline team, pretty proud of this. We've got Merv McCann. Where's Merv? So Merv is 14 years. And Merv has been with us, been to New York 30. How many times? 32. Aaron, I said 32. Yeah, so Merv's been with New York 33 times. And this is, we'll get this later, but Gary Creswell, we've got Gary Carroll. One of our directors. We have Walter Van Beek, who is on his way to Europe right, he's been virtually there now. So he's on vacation. So Walter and Pam. And we have a new person that's joining us this year with Kristen Taylor. Kristen?
Hi.
Yeah. So Kristen is probably the most experienced tour director of all 5 of us. So she's been with Trafalgar, has done a lot of Europe with Trafalgar in the last number of years. So we're happy that she's on board with us to do a few tours on behalf of Target Tours. We have some nice milestones this year. Again, we're celebrating 15 years in business, started in 2009 in the basement of our home, and we're back to the basement of our home. So post-COVID, sold the office in Stratford. So we don't need a big office, so we're back in the basement again. It's Merv's farewell year. Merv is doing our 2 New York trips this year, and he'll still be working with Target Tours as a step-on guy, but he's going to hang out the tour director hat. So he says, okay? He may come out of retirement. And of course, Lynn and myself have been married 35 years this year. She does say she'd be out by now, but she did what she's supposed to do. So 35 years, she's put up with a lot in the last 35 years, but we have a couple of tours we're doing Alaska Cruise, and we're also doing Iceland that we've got planned for this year. So that's a little bit about Target Tours. I'm going to bring up Valerie to talk about celebrity. Everything with celebrity.
that we're going to present later. Do we have anyone going to Spain and Portugal already? No, so that's good. So we're going to talk about that later. So I'll just start by introducing, for those of you that don't know Celebrity, I'll just introduce you guys a little bit to our brand. So Celebrity Cruises, we position ourselves as an award-winning resort at sea. So not only do we like to say it, but we also have the accolades to prove it. So in 2023, we received some Forbes 4-star rating from their travel guide for most of our ships, and now in 2024, we've also earned it for our latest ship, Celebrity Ascent, which just came out in December of 2023. And Lindsay and Caitlin actually got to try it on our inaugural sailing. How do you guys like it?
I didn't want to come back. Sorry, John. There was a moment where I didn't want to come back.
So, Celebrity Cruises, one of our brand pillars is also our destinations. We go to over 300 destinations all over the world, all 7 continents. So that's really one of our brand pillars. We like to go where other people don't. We also have 16 ships in our fleet. So we have 4 different series of ships. We have the Celebrity Edge series, Celebrity Solstice, Celebrity Millennium, and our last fleet of ships is our Galapagos fleet. So we have 3 ships that only sail through the Galapagos year-round. So we'll talk a little bit about the ships later. So Celebrity, as I mentioned, we're relaxed luxury resorts at sea. So what does that mean? The luxuries, oftentimes we associate luxury with a little more, like too fancy or stuck up, but it's really not. That's why we added the relax, because that's really what it's all about, relaxing, enjoying your time, and having a really good time. So Celebrity, we don't, unlike other cruise lines, we don't have water slides, we don't have go karting. That's not what we're known for, and that's not what we want to do. We're really more creative for more of an adult demographic, and that's what our clients like, right? So just to relax and enjoy trips, enjoy the destinations, the service, the food, and all of that. So one of our biggest brand pillars and one of the reasons why clients come back cruise after cruise with Celebrity is our service, which is one of the things that we're really known for. So I always like to give a little, to present a little story. I have, probably most of you that have sailed with Celebrity have stories about our service. Anyone I know who's cruised with us, whether it's friends, family, or colleagues, we all have different types of stories. But the one I like to tell is last year. So over the holidays, I went on Celebrity Edge on 11-night sailing with my parents. So we got on board. Every night before going to bed, I go to Cafe El Bacio, and I see the same barista that's there every night. Her name is Minnie. So I go to Minnie, and before going to bed, I ask for 2 water bottles. So after the first couple of nights, pretty quickly, she knows, before I get a chance to that counter, that I'm there to get my water bottle. So she knows my name, she knows my sleeping number, I don't have to get my card up, I don't have to ask for anything. So, that's already pretty great, right? But then that's not the end of the story. A year later, when we were on Celebrity Ascent in the inaugural sailings, I get on board, I go to Cafe El Bacio to get some water. So I get on the plane, get to the counter, and who do I see? Minnie. So I say, oh hi Minnie, I remember you from last year on Celebrity Edge. And she says, oh hi, I remember you too. Turns around, grabs a bottle of water, and gives it to me. I never asked for it, I never ordered anything. She remembered from a year before that that's what I would get every day. So that gives you an idea of the level of service in Celebrity, right? So it's really about getting that elevated service, right? So also I mentioned that we go to some of the best destinations in the world, but our ships are also considered themselves to be some of the best destinations in the world, and we won awards for it. So for example, the Celebrity Apex won an award for being one of the best destinations in the entire world. So the ship itself is considered one of the best destinations in the entire world. Another thing that we're known for is our design. So everything is really thought of in the smallest detail. So for example, here we have the Grand Plaza, where we have the Martini Bar on our Edge series ship. So in the Grand Plaza, so for those of you that have sailed with Celebrity, you're probably familiar with the Martini Bar, right? Who's a fan of the Martini Bar here? We have some fans, right? So oftentimes, well not oftentimes, every night, what we do at the Martini Bar is our bartenders will do martini shows, where they'll juggle with the bottles, they'll serve huge martini flight. The most I've seen, I think, is 96 martinis served at a time. It's very impressive. So, does anyone here know also Captain Kate? No, not really. So Captain Kate is probably our most famous captain. She's actually the first female captain of a cruise ship, which is already pretty impressive. So sometimes she'll just get on the counter of the martini bar in her boots and high heels, her eyes closed, with the martini flight, and just serve it in front of everyone. It's always a fun time. So with the martini bar on the edge cruise ship, what we do is the lights on the chandelier, the music, and the bartenders all go hand in hand, so it should be all synchronized, and it's always a lot of fun. So our next grand pillar, and another reason why people come after time with Celebrity, is our culinary experience. Because the food is just so amazing on board, right? So Celebrity, whether you go at the buffet every day, or you go to the main dining room, or even specialty dining, you're always going to have an amazing culinary experience. So what I'd like to say is, if you go to the main dining room every night, you're going to have amazing meals every single night. You don't have to go to specialty dining to eat well. You'll go to specialty dining to have an experience that's out of the ordinary. So I'll present some of our specialty dining a little bit later. So another one of our grand pillars is wellness. So whether you're staying in an aqua same room with access to the thermal suite or to blue, or even if you just want to go relax and have a massage, or any of the treatments that we have today on the spa, or even try our gym. So just a quick video to give you an overview of Celebrity.
Turn up the sound.
I don't have that. We have. Which is a little bit of music. Sorry if you guys, if those in the back couldn't hear too well, but it was really just music. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our ships. So first we have the edge cruise ships, which are our newest ships. So we have Celebrity Edge, Apex, Beyond, SN, and in 2025 we have Celebrity XL coming out. So the Edge cruise ship are, I know John and Lynn went on Edge last year, Lindsay and Keith and I said went on Ascent in December. They're really, of course I'm a little biased, but in my opinion they're the most beautiful ships in the world. And just to give you an example, in December of last year, we had a big conference on Celebrity Apex. And on board we had a lot of travel advisors, but also people from other cruise lines, including some senior vice presidents, for example. And a senior vice president at a different cruise line said in the theater in front of a full audience of travel advisors that Celebrity Apex was the most beautiful ship he's ever seen. To give you an idea. So someone from a competing cruise line said it was the most beautiful ship he'd ever seen. So it's not just us saying it, right? So to give you an idea, our pool deck, our resort deck, that we like to call it, we have one of the highest ratio of space per passenger on our ships in the industry. So that means if you're going to the resort deck, or you're going to the martini bar, or to the theater, or anything like that, you never really have to, you never have to fight to get some space, or you never have to wake up and go reserve a seat at 5 a.m. in the morning just to make sure that you have a seat by the pool, right? So we also have the gorgeous sunset those are some of the amazing venues that we have on the Celebrity Education. We also, I talked about the Grand Plaza earlier with the Martini Bar, but we also have the Magic Carpet. So the Magic Carpet is a unique feature that we have on the Edge ship. It's a cantilevered platform that we have on the side of the ship. It serves three purposes. So the first one, it serves as, most of the time, it will serve as a bar, which is a lot of fun. It's a pretty unique perspective that you get just sitting on the Magic Carpet and having an actual view of the ship from the ship. Then the second purpose is it serves as a specialty dining menu. Finally, the third purpose, and which is the main use for the Magic Carpet, is it serves as a platform for tendering. So when we're anchored in port, rather than being docked directly in port, we have, we get the tenders, right, to get you to the port. So it makes it a lot easier for tendering because we get 2 tenders at a time, and we're really at the same level as the tenders. So it makes it a lot easier to get on and off, and a lot more efficient as well. So next we have the Solstice series. So we have 5 ships as well in the Solstice series. So the Solstice, Eclipse, Equinox, Reflection, and Silhouette. So you may not be able to read it from the interior, especially if you're in the back. The Celebrity Equinox and Celebrity Silhouette were revolutionized. So what does that mean? So when we introduced the Edge series ship, what we did is we started bringing the rest of our fleet. We wanted to bring the rest of our fleet to the same standards as the Edge series did. So what we did is we really rebuilt the entire ships to bring them to that standard. But then something happened in 2020. Does that ring a bell? Yeah, you heard that thing that happened in March of 2020, right? So it happened a little break in the cruise industry. That had a small impact on us. So we took a break from the revolution. The Celebrity Equinox, remember that one? The Celebrity Silhouette were revolutionized. So these are some of the venues that we have on board Celebrity Solstice, just to give you a quick overview. So as I mentioned earlier, our pools usually really long. You have plenty of space because we have one of the highest ratio of space per passenger in the industry. We also have the Lawn Club, which I'm going to talk about shortly. So the Lawn Club is actually a unique feature to the Solstice series. No other ship in the world has something like this. So it's an actual grass. Has anyone been on a Solstice series ship? Oh, we have a few, right? So it's an actual grass lawn that we have on board our ships. So we have different kinds of activities over there. We have putting, we have bocce. Did I pronounce it right this time? I kept saying bocce. So in French we just call it pétanque. So it sounds a little different. We also have in the Lawn Club, we'll have movies, we'll have sports games as well that will present on the screens. So for example, if you're kind of with basketball during March Madness, it's always a lot of fun, it always gets super crowded. Same thing during the NHL playoffs, for example. We also have a hot glass blowing studio by the Lawn Club, which you can do yourself, so you can bring back a little souvenir from the ship. So some of the other venues that we have on board every single one of our ships, we always have the solarium. So the solarium is a pool in an inside covered area. It is a very relaxing space. So one of my colleagues and I, whenever we present, we always like to joke that when you see people in the solarium, usually you'll always see someone that's just laying on their chair, a little asleep, mouth open, drooling a little bit just because it's so relaxing. And recently I was on board Celebrity Beyond, so I had to go do some filming for one of my fellow partners. Started getting a little out of breath. And I was on Beyond, and I went to the solarium and filmed. And when I came home, I watched my video, and I noticed that it was actually someone on a pool chair, asleep with their mouth open, drooling a little bit. So we say it as a joke, but it's actually how it really is. It's really just a very relaxing space. Also, another unique feature that we have is we have some real live living trees on board the Solstice TV ships in the center. So they're really more of a piece of art. So when we say that everything is really thought of in every small detail, that's an example of it. I also mentioned earlier the Martini Bar, which is a classic on board all of our ships. And another classic is Gatto Baccio. Do we have any fans of Gatto Baccio? John, I know you're a fan, right?
Yeah, add me to that list.
So, Gatto Baccio is basically our own version of Starbucks. And when you go through Target stores, you always get the classic beverage package, which includes your specialty coffees, specialty teas, which you can get at Gatto Baccio. So we also have an amazing spa with a great thermal suite that you can get a passport for the week if that's something that you're interested in. And we also have specialty dining on board all of our ships. So one specialty dining restaurant that we have on board the Celebrity Solstice and Millennium series is Tuscanville, which is an Italian steakhouse. So you get your fresh made pasta and delicious steaks. It's a great venue. We also have Linda's Chef. I know John, you tried it, right? So Lynn, I think Lynn's still outside the door. She was saying it's one of her favorite. So Linda's Chef is an animation. So it's a projection on your plate. And Linda's Chef comes out and creates your meal, builds your meal directly on your plate. So we have different stories with different meals. So for example, one of them is a competition between 4 different chefs. So from 4 different countries, and each one of them creates a dish, and then at the end of the meal you have to vote for your favorite one. Or another one is the story of the life of the Miss Chef. So each dish is a different season, and then he gets into all sorts of trouble. It's very cute. It's a really great experience. So as I mentioned, specialty dining with celebrities, you don't have to go to eat well. You can eat well no matter where you eat on the ship. But it's really more about getting experience out of the ordinary. And then one of my favorite specialty dining restaurants on board our fleet is Murano, which is exclusive to the Solstice cruise ship. So Murano is more of your refined French cuisine, like 5-star restaurant French cuisine, where the waiter will come out and do, for example, a flambe of your lobster right before serving it to you. Or it's really that level of service. So it's a really, really great experience, and the food is amazing. Now, just a quick overview of our staterooms on the Solstice series ship. So those are our revolutionized staterooms. So remember, Celebrity Equinox is revolutionized, and Celebrity Silhouette. And now we're going to move over to our target tour groups. So one thing you need to know with target tours, I mentioned you always have the classic beverage package included, but you also have the Wi-Fi and the gratuities included as well. So now I'm going to let John come present the target tour groups.
Thank you, Larry. We feel, Lynn and I just absolutely love cruising, and Ireland too. They are there. But when we do a cruise on Celebrity, we feel like we're coming home. It's the staff are welcoming, the cabin stores are welcoming, and it's a different experience from what we've experienced on the cruise lines, and that's why we're all in Celebrity. So we have a couple of tours we want to talk about tonight, and these are the ones that we're doing in fall of 2024. And just to kind of give you an overview, it's not going to be day by day what we're going through, but we're just going to give you kind of a taste of some of the trips that we're doing. So the first one we got is our Italy to Greek Isles cruise, one of our favorites, going to be led by Krista Tanner, and it's on September 11th to the 25th, and it includes both pre and post tours. So the pre is going to be in Rome. You'll see that it's on your flyer as well. So when we land in Rome, Rome's kind of a free day when we get there, because anybody's traveling internationally, you know that first day you've had 20 minutes of sleep on the plane, and you're a walking zombie. So we try not to schedule anything on the first day, but we do try to keep you up because you can't get the hotel room until 3 or 4 o'clock. So on the second day, we'll do a full day tour walking around the Roman Forum, the ancient Rome. You'll see the Colosseum at the outside of the Colosseum. And then in the afternoon, after lunch, we'll kind of do a historical Rome tour. So Trevi Fountain, you'll be able to see that, Pantheon, Spanish Steps, and also Piazza Navona. So we'll try to get you to see as much of Rome as possible in the day. And then also include 2 dinners. So we'll also have 2 dinners arranged when we're in Rome. But of course, the highlight of the trip is going to be the Greek Isles. Anybody been to the Greek Isles? Yeah, it's quite nice. So the 4 Greek stops that we're doing is Olympia, which is where the original Olympic Games started back in the 700s. Mykonos is one of those ports that you don't need to book a tour, you can just walk off the port into a little town, through the whitewashed buildings, and you go all through the shops, and then right at the end you're going to see the little windmills, which is classic with Mykonos. Athens, another Greek stop, big city, but one of the highlights is going to be the Acropolis. So we suggest no flip-flops, no high heels if you're going to do the Acropolis, a lot of steps over uneven surfaces, so we recommend that you have good footwear, but it's amazing to see there. It's quite high on the hill. And the last one is Santorini, which happens to be our favorite. Where the ship docks, you're going to be able to, if you do a tour, get a ticket for a cable car up the top of the hill, or if you're brave, don't suggest it, take the Dunphy. Absolutely, don't suggest it. Okay? Even walking beside, those little donkeys will go anywhere. Okay? So you'll be walking around, poop everywhere. So do yourself a favor, take a cable car. Okay? And take pictures of the donkeys as you're going up. The Santorini, one of the stops we try to make, and we do a tour. We'll stop in Boy, which is probably about maybe 30 minutes from where the ship docks. And classic Italy, you get the blue domes of the churches, and you get some good pictures there as well. So that's kind of the Greek Isles that we're going to be seeing. And then we have some other stops. We've got Turkey, the ruins of Ephesus, which is the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Malta, another one of our favorites. So where the cruise ship docks, you're going to see it up the top of the hill, and that's up there, St. John's Cathedral, that you'll be able to take the elevator up, or if you feel energetic, you can walk up. But take the go up there, and it's just a walking town. You can do that. Then the last one. So at the end of the tour, we're stopping in Barcelona, and that'll be one night coast cruise, and we'll do a city tour there as well after we get off the ship, and then we'll also go to the Sagrada Familia, which I think is being finished in 2026.
Wow.
Yes. It's currently under construction. So, but I think it's coming to an end in 26. Or they're running out of money. So the next cruise that we're doing with Celebrity, and I forgot to mention, the Equinox. The revolutionary ship. That's the ship we're doing for the Greek Isles, and that will be also the ship that we're doing for the National Spain. So National Spain, November 8th to 23rd. Again, we're also doing 2 nights in Barcelona on the front end, and we'll be doing 2 nights in Lisbon on the back end. 14 breakfasts, so we also include meals when we're in Barcelona and when we're in Lisbon. So first stop, when we do get to Barcelona, so we do have a tour on arrival. So we will try to keep you up. A little bit of bus tour, a little bit of a walking tour, and then in the afternoon we'll visit Park Güell. Once we get on the cruise ship, on the Equinox, we're sailing to Palma de Mallorca, which is the island off Spain, which is kind of best known for being kind of little Barcelona, kind of similar to Barcelona. Next stop is the Valencia. So Valencia is also another port where you can walk. There will be shuttle transportation, I think €4 each way, that you can take the shuttle into Valencia and drop you off just as people walking into the old town, just exploring your own. so Malaga is also, it's kind of like the, when people go to Spain for the winter, a lot of times they'll go, right on the beaches right on Malaga. Cadiz, which is another stop, which is kind of the port city of Seville. So you can stop there and do a tour of Seville. But Cadiz is another one that you can walk around. Just a small town. And Cadiz has claimed they're similar to Halifax in that they also had an explosion. Similar to Halifax explosion. Back in the war in 1947, they would have had stored a lot of the arms for the war in Cadiz, and they were not handling them very well, where they were burying them, and in August of 1947, they did go on fire, and they just exploded. Great little city to do that, and fun fact, we were walking, as we were exploring, walking our 20,000 steps, kind of hungry, walking down these side streets, and you smell a bakery. And you went in and they were taking fresh waffles that long out of the oven, so we bought a couple and just ate them. But it was a neat little town. Tangier, we are making a stop in Morocco, and we will probably have a tour arranged for this one as well. So just to try to do something else. And but it'll be, Tangier will be the second most busiest port on the coast, right behind Casablanca. And maybe another stop in Vigo, which is Spain, and then up into Portugal, where we'll stop in Porto. And right along the coast, Porto, of course, is best known for port wine. That's where it's made right there. And you get people to tour some of the wineries there. We come back to Lisbon, and on the day of arrival, we do a tour, 4-hour tour of Sintra, and we do the Royal Palace as well. Also, go out to the coast, to the most westerly part of Europe, which is in, it's called Boga Inferno. It's very rocky, very cliff, a lot of cliffs. All right, a celebrity. So now we'll have some questions at the end. So if you think of anything, just keep it for a little bit. But my pleasure now to introduce all the way from Ireland to Toronto, Jonathan Sargent.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you everyone for coming. And Kate, Mila Falcha, 100,000 welcomes, as we say in Ireland. I hope you can all understand my accent, but it's not too dissimilar from most of your accents, so hopefully you can as I go through the presentation. So, has anyone heard of Royal Irish Shores before? Few people? Okay, anyone traveled on one of our tours with John before in the past? Okay, that's great. So I'm going to here to tell you a bit about Royal Irish Shores, a bit about Ireland and Scotland, and Target Tours are doing 2 wonderful tours with us later in the year in September, so I'm going to talk about them. But firstly, a bit about who Royal Irish Shores are. We are Canada's leading tour operator selling Ireland, and we also sell Scotland, England, and Wales. So that is all we sell, and we only sell here in Canada as well, so very much specialists in those destinations. It's a family business, just like Target Tours. Ian Dunphy, our owner, at the top right there, born and raised in Dublin, like myself. Fell in love with a Canadian and moved to Canada 35 years ago, set our roots in Richmond Hill, just outside Toronto, just north of Toronto in Ontario, and it's very much family business. His son Connor is our vice president, and his other son Rowan works in our Dublin office. Rowan's sister Sinead is our reservations manager. So it's really nice to work for a family company, so you know you're in good hands when you travel with Target Tours and Royal Irish Tours. And we are celebrating our 24th year in business this year. But as I said, we're only selling to Canadians, and why is that important? It means, you're traveling with like-minded people, of course, you're traveling with Target Tours, but everything's tailored to the Canadians as well. So our guides will always have great stories, Irish Canadian history, Scottish Canadian history. Anyone with Irish ancestry here? There's always a few, that's great. And you'll learn a lot of that as you go. We do some great stops like Dunbrody famine ship, and you get to learn a bit of that very sad history of the famine, and lots of other places. You'll see your last name, the name of a pub, you'll see streets of a name you recognise as well. So just like John said, when he's going back on Celebrity, he feels like he's coming home. Even if you've never been to Ireland or Scotland, if you have any sort of ancestral connection, you do almost feel like you've come home when you arrive. I said the Cape Meal of Falcha, 100,000 welcomes. No matter where you go, you'll meet friendly locals along the way. And so what's different about Royal Irish Tours? I mean, our tour managers, just like Target Tours, what really set us apart, mostly with us 10 plus years. We have some fantastic guides, and so you're in very good hands. You have a Royal Irish Tours tour manager with you. You have an experienced driver with you as well. Many of them are very funny characters as well, and you of course have at least one Target Tours guide with you. So you're in very good hands. Maximum 26 guests on the groups as well. So a really nice group size to explore the destinations. And Ireland and Scotland, they aren't huge. They're a little bigger than your island here. But in Ireland, in a 10, 11-day tour, you can see most of the country. Same in Scotland, you can really get deep, visit some islands and visit the islands in 10, 11 days. So this is just a quick glance of the tour that they're going to be doing to Ireland, which we'd love for many of you to join. It's the Luxury Manor Royal Tour. It's an 11-day, 10-night tour. And the big difference between this and some of our other tours, it's mostly luxury accommodation. So 6 nights in beautiful 5-star properties, 1 night in a luxurious Irish castle, which I'll show you a picture of momentarily, and the rest of the nights in 4-star deluxe hotels. So some really nice fine dining experiences. Wherever we have 2 nights in any city, we'll generally give you 1 free evening and 1 included meal, so you have a chance to go out and explore the town. And lots of great pubs as well. John has changed the itinerary, so there's 2 nights in Galway instead of 1. And I can see why the hotel's located right beside the pub, which he frequented both nights when he was there. And there's also about 30 pubs in the town, all playing live Irish music and stuff like that. So it's a really fun and vibrant city, Galway, and your 2 nights right in the heart of the city. But a lot of the other properties are kind of, some are a little outside towns, and they're really beautiful luxury properties. And this is a very nice paced itinerary, 11 days, 10 nights. I'm just going to take you through some of the highlights of that. But first I'll show you some of the hotels. So the first 2 nights are probably the best hotel in Northern Ireland. The Culloden Hotel in Belfast, owned by the Hastings family. They own quite a few hotels in Northern Ireland, but we love working with local families there. You know, there's obviously the big chain hotels, but on this tour we don't work with any chain hotels. It's all small, individual, family-owned hotels, including Culloden, and it's an absolutely amazing 5-star property. So you have 2 nights there. On the right there are the bedrooms you have. Sometimes you have beautiful views of the gardens or the courtyard, so it's a really, really nice start to your tour. Then you also have 1 night, including fine dining, at Kilrowan Castle, which is in the lovely town of Roscommon, Ballyfarnham, just outside, one of the main towns in Roscommon, but an absolutely beautiful property to explore the grounds. And there's a beautiful dungeon bar in there, and the staff there are absolutely amazing, and you really are treated very well there, and it's such a nice, it's almost like going back in time staying here. Then the change John has made, 2 nights in the beautiful Hartland Hotel, which is a really fantastic 4-star, right in the heart of Galway City, and a really beautiful property, and just a 1-minute walk to John's favourite pub. And then 2 nights in the beautiful Dunphy. This is probably my favourite hotel in all of Ireland, right in the heart of Killarney National Park. The picture on the left, that's where you'll be having your breakfast each morning, overlooking the Capitol Low and beautiful mountains of Killarney. So really, really nice place to stay for 2 nights. And again, it's really fine dining, accommodation, and experiences as you go. Then the final 2 nights in a beautiful hotel, the Cape Club or the Kildare Club. It's become famous since 2006 as it hosted the Ryder Cup. But it's a really, really amazing property, about 30 minutes outside Dublin City. So on the last day, there's a lovely day trip into Dublin for anyone who wants to do that. A lot of people also extend for a night or 2 in Dublin, and lots of really great accommodation options in there if you do decide to extend. So that's a quick overview of some of the accommodations, so keep that in mind when you're thinking about doing this tour. But I'll go through a few of the highlights now. So my favourite part when I'm visiting Ireland, if people are going to Ireland once and once only, I always recommend going to Northern Ireland. It's often ignored by lots of people. Unfortunately, only 1 in 10 Americans go to Northern Ireland, but 1 in 3 Canadians do. So Canadians are much more likely to go to Northern Ireland, and we love that. Most of our itineraries will take in Northern Ireland, and when you go there, you'll see why. We have beautiful attractions like the UNESCO World Heritage Site of the Giant's Causeway, which is a fantastic day trip from Belfast. We take the beautiful Causeway Coastal Route, which is a 3-hour drive because you take lots of stops for photos and Irish coffee and things like that. And then you finish with the UNESCO World Heritage Site of the Giant's Causeway. We also spent 2 nights in Belfast, so plenty of time to explore and learn a bit of the history of the Troubles. Obviously, Belfast was in the news for all the wrong reasons 30, 40 years ago, and the Troubles, but it's really great just to see how far it's come. You see the peace wall that still separates today Protestant and Catholic communities, and it's a 60-foot high wall separating them, so it's crazy that was ever even built. They originally built it 20 foot, and then they had to build it another 20 foot, and then another 20 foot, but now it's more of a symbol, and people sign the wall, there's lots of great graffiti and murals on it, and it's just really amazing to see how far Belfast has gone. So make Northern Ireland a must if you go to the island of Ireland. Titanic Belfast is a really fantastic attraction as well. It doesn't just tell the story of the faithful maiden voyage, it really tells you the history of shipbuilding as well as cruising as well. So there's a big exhibition on cunards, you learn a bit of the history of the cruise industry, but you also learn that Belfast shipbuilding had 14,000 people were hired locally over 4 years to build the ship. It really was the pride of the city. And there's 9 galleries there. You see what it was like on board as a first-class passenger, as a third-class passenger. You hear voices of survivors from the Titanic. They have a new exhibition there where they actually have some stuff they uncovered from the Titanic, an old piano, old violin and stuff. So it's a really very moving experience as you go through there. But those first few days are a really great start to your tour. And then we head across west to Galway, where we have 2 wonderful nights there. So you have one included evening meal at the hotel in Ireland, and you also get a chance to go to probably the best Irish entertainment show on the island of Ireland, Travel the Prom. So this show is run by a guy called Chris Kelly. He used to be the producer of Lord of the Dance. His wife, who runs it with him, she was the lead dancer on Lord of the Dance, so that's how they met. Their son, he works with the Gardner brothers, who are a very famous duo of Irish dancers who go all around the world performing, and he actually performed in the White House on St. Patrick's Day last year. So really fantastic musicians they have, great singers, great musicians, fiddle players, and world famous Irish dancers, and it's a really fantastic show, definitely a highlight of this tour. And then John's favourite pub, you see there in the middle. I'm not sure if he made the show or was he in the pub. But a really, really great tour, Galway for a few days. We do a walking tour with the guide Fiona. You learn a bit about the Spanish Armada. The Spanish came in the 1600s. Into Galway, there's a lot of Spanish history there, so you see street names and Spanish names if you're wondering why. It's because of the Spanish Armada in the 1600s. So a lovely walking tour of the city, and Shop Street is the main street. You think it's full of shops, but it's actually mostly full of pubs. But lots of great pubs, restaurants, artisan shops, the bakeries, things, so lots to see and do in Galway. We also go to Wild Atlantic Sheepdog, which is a really fantastic experience. They go to a working farm in Ireland. I mean, I know there's big agriculture is obviously a huge business here on the island, but it's also the same in Ireland. And it's so great just to talk to like-minded people, to chat with the local farmer and learn about kind of the history of farming or what's going on. They'll tell you a few stories, and it's a really, really nice visit. And you see the amazing sheepdogs around the sheep as well. The sheep. Then as you travel down south, you go through Dublin, the Burren region, and you go into County Clare, and you see the beautiful, mighty Cliffs of Moher. Hopefully you get a clear day. I was talking to Mervyn and Gary. One of them got a beautiful day where they had beautiful views, and the next 2 days later, next person was there and it was a little foggy, didn't get quite as good a picture, but it's still an amazing experience. You get kind of a different picture and a different view, and when it's foggy or when it's a bit rough and windy. So a really nice visit. You can go into the visitor experience, learn a bit of history of the area, about many of the birds that live in and around the cliffs, and you can also on a nice day do a nice walk there. So depending on the weather, sometimes you spend up to 2 hours here, you have a chance to grab a bite to eat, and lots to see and do, and some beautiful, beautiful views. And the picture on the right, you get that view if you walk out on the picture on the left a bit, you get a view of O'Brien's Tower from behind, so it's a really, really nice visit, another highlight for many people of the tour. Then 2 days on the beautiful Ring of Kerry, so we stay in Killarney, which is now the home of Irish tourism. It was made famous as a tourist destination back in the 1860s when the Queen of England came over on holidays. So tourism came to Killarney and the Ring of Kerry long before tourism was even a word. So the Ring of Kerry is an amazing place, and once you come over the hills, as you come into Killarney, you can see why. 40 shades of green, they really do have that in County Kerry. You do a full day or a half day anti-clockwise on the coach, going around, lots of stops for pictures, lots of nice little towns and villages, get to chat to the locals, grab a coffee, have a pint in, since bars are open that early, depending on what time you're there. And we also do lots of nice little stops on the side of the road for pictures and stuff, but it's really just a scenic day and a really fantastic area to explore. Then we do 2 nights in Killarney, so you have plenty of time to explore that. And it's a really, really fun town, again, with lots of great artisan shops and tweed factories and stuff like that. And then as we travel to Ireland's ancient east, it's really 5,000 years of history in a small, compact area. And we go to Blarney Castle. Anyone who wants to climb the steps to get the gift of the gab, but most of us already have the gift of the gab. And you can kiss the stone. And for those who don't want to kiss the stone, it's still beautiful just to explore the grounds. There's a lovely garden. You can go into the cafe, grab a nice coffee. There's a nice little gift shop, and just take nice views of the castle. So it's a really nice stop en route to Waterford, and then we'll go to the Marine Bar after that. But also another great visit for me is going to Dunphy famine ship, and it's a really moving experience, a bit like Titanic, but even more tragic. So people would have left on a replica ship of the Dunphy there, and these would have brought goods over from South America back in the mid-1800s, and they would have brought over 100 people from the town of New Ross on the Dunphy famine ship, heading across to North America, people escaping the famine in search of a better life. So you actually have an actor on board. She shows you what it was like as a first-class passenger on board. She's quite funny when she acts as the first-class passenger. There's 2 rooms at the front, so there might be 2 families of first-class passengers, and then underneath in the lower deck there's just like 12 or 15 beds that are taking 10, 15 people each, and there'll be over 100 third-class passengers. The first-class passengers will have access to the outside deck 23 hours of the day. The people down below, 100 people, will have access for 30 minutes a day. So 2 very different experiences crossing the Atlantic, and unfortunately many didn't make it all the way across. But it's really moving when you're there. You can see names of people who left and where they landed, and often you'll see last names of perhaps your neighbour or someone you know that would have left from New Ross. So when people are tracing their ancestry in Ireland, people often think they're from Waterford, New Ross or Cork. The reason for that is when they arrived in New York or Newfoundland or Groseal or Montreal, wherever they were landing, often they just stamped where the ship originated from. So often people get stumped when they're tracing their ancestry. A lot of people often think they're from Cork, but maybe their people might have walked 2 or 3 days down to Cork to get a ship. The 3 main ports in those days, going to North America would have been Cove, which is in Cork. Many people say Cobb, but BH in the Irish language is actually Ski, so it's Cove. And then New Ross and also Waterford Port. So that's a really nice visit. Then you see the total other side of Irish history. All those military men working for the British Army all over the world would have been given, after their good service, a nice country home or manor house in Ireland, another country they invaded. So they did very well for themselves. Loughborough House is a great example of that, but now it's owned by the Irish government. You get a lovely tour, you see some great artwork and stuff, some lovely gardens to explore. So we've got a nice mix of visits throughout the tour. Another highlight is the stop in the Marine Bar en route to Waterford, and we have some Irish musicians in there. It's a really old Irish country bar. You have a bit of a chance for a whiskey and a chat, you say. So whether you're not a drinker, you can have tea, coffee, you can have an Irish coffee, you can even try your hand at making an Irish coffee, and with a really nice afternoon entertainment session en route up to Waterford. Then the final day, as I said, we have a lovely day trip into Dublin, so you have 4 or 5 hours to kind of choose your own adventure. As I said, lots of people might extend by a day or 2 to explore a bit more of Dublin, but a really fantastic city, built mostly by the Normans, so there's still some remaining bits of the wall. But Trinity College, right in the heart of the city, is a great place to start. Book of Kells, you're outside Grafton Street for anyone who wants to do a bit of shopping, but lots of really great museums. Anyone who wants to do Guinness, Jameson, that's all doable in a few hours when you're in Dublin. So that's just a quick overview of Ireland. And now I'm going to go through some of the highlights of the wonderful Scotland tour they're putting together. That we put together from September 18th to 29th. And the lovely Gary is going to be leading this one. And so maximum 26 guests again. Again, it's an 11-day, 10-night tour. So a really nice amount of time. If you're going that far, you don't really want to be going for just 7 or 8 days. It's nice to go for that little bit longer so you really get in depth into the country. So 7 evening meals included in this, as well as a Scottish entertainment evening on the final night. 2 nights to start in the beautiful city of Edinburgh, as well as going right up north and all the way to the Orkney Islands in the far north, and 3 nights on the Outer Hebrides, which is definitely a highlight for me on this trip. So lots of other great inclusions. We don't do optional excursions, so with some companies you might spend €400 or €500 a week on different optionals. They're all included up front when you do a target tour with Royal Irish Tours. So that's something you don't have to worry about on tour. Lunches are never included, but we always have nice stops in little towns and villages where you can grab a bite to eat and have a little wander around. So the first few days, again, the target tour's way, you arrive into a city. Obviously the overnight flights arrive very early. So we have a walking tour the first day, a bit of a panoramic tour of Edinburgh, a chance to really get your bearings. It's such a historic city, and it's always hard to put to really showcase how old it is. I was staying there a few years ago, and my taxi driver brought me to the hotel, and I was like, gosh, these are beautiful buildings. He goes, yeah, we're just entering the new town. These buildings are only 250 years old, as if they were built yesterday. And the old town, they have some beautiful old cobbled streets, and of course they have Edinburgh Castle, which was built back in the 12th century. During the Industrial Revolution, this was the largest city in all of the UK, and it really is amazing to see Old World and New World kind of come together in modern day Edinburgh. But a really, really nice place. You get that orientation. The Royal Mile is a must, and most of the walking tour will take you in the Royal Mile. You'll visit lots of different places along there. So a really nice start to your tour. We also have 2 nights there, so you'll have plenty of time and staying in the Leonardo, which is a very centrally located hotel. Then you'll have a chance to go up to Inverness. Again, we'll do an introduction there. Inver actually means mouth of the river, so Inverness is mouth of the River Ness. You'll often see Inver at the start of stuff. You're really probably near a river if you're in a place called Inver. So Inverness is a really nice city. Again, population of about 65,000, so a very small city, very walkable. Lots of great art museums, galleries, lots of great shopping, and so lots of things to see and do there. So it's kind of your gateway to the north, you said. And then we go up to Wick, where we will do a day trip to the Orkney Islands. For many people, this is definitely a highlight of the trip. Up until 1472, Orkneys was part of Denmark, but when James III was marrying Princess Margaret of Denmark, he was promised a dowry by the King of Denmark, which he never paid, so he decided to take 100 islands off up in northern Scotland, which was previously Norway. So since 1472, the Orkneys has been part of Scotland, but it really is the far north. It's absolutely fantastic visit. So much to see and do there. 200 years ago, there was a horrific storm there, which killed almost 200 people, but it also unearthed Scarra Brae, which is an old Neolithic village, which is still pretty much fully intact. And that was built about 3,500 years ago. So it's really amazing when you're there. And there's 10 little houses they had, so there would have been a small settlement. They're still uncovering more information about them, but it's UNESCO World Heritage Site, a really amazing visit. And on a day trip to the Orkneys, you can see so much. We also go to the Italian Chapel, which was built mostly by Italian prisoners of war during World War II. So they put them to work with some beautiful artwork while they were in prison there. Again, another nice visit, and then just the beautiful scenery as you travel around. You'll see plenty of sheep, but the Orkneys is definitely a highlight for many people. Then we go over to the Outer Hebrides. We take the North Coast 500 road down. It'll be 3 nights in the Outer Hebrides, staying in Stornoway, an absolutely beautiful little fishing village on the Isle of Lewis. You have a chance to have a wee dram at a local distillery on our day trip to the Isle of Harris. We'll go to Smoot Caves, and we'll also see some of these Caribbean-esque beaches. And I say they're Caribbean-esque because you look at them and they're absolutely beautiful, golden, but then you go and touch the water and realize you're definitely not in the Caribbean. Just for reason. So absolutely beautiful. Have time to stroll along some of those beaches. We'll see some of the most beautiful beaches in all of the UK and indeed in Europe. But going for a swim is not for the faint-hearted there, for sure. Also in the Isle of Lewis, we'll go to Callanish standing stones, which again are these Neolithic stones that have been there for over 3,000 years. They still don't know to this day why standing stones were built, and it's really amazing. They think it was something spiritual related. back then, but it's really an amazing feat of engineering how these were built back then. It doesn't look like much, but these are 20, 30 feet high, and some of them have come hundreds of miles because they know those stones were actually originally in a field, maybe on a different island or 300 miles away, and they've got there and they've built these beautiful circles. It's about 150 feet in diameter, and it's really amazing and very new. You always get that eerie feeling as you stand in the middle, but it really is like going back in time. We're there. Do a full day of Lewis, so plenty of time to explore all Lewis has to offer. You have plenty of lighthouses here, but you'll see plenty more on the Isle of Lewis and the Isle of Harris as well. Isle of Harris, this is one of my favourite day trips on this tour, so you get a chance to go to Harris Tweed, which for many people is a highlight, kind of learning a bit about how Tweed is made. Harris Tweed is so popular, it was being knocked off all around the world. People were making tweed and claiming it was Harris Tweed. In 1993, the people of Outer Hebrides actually made the Harris Tweed Act, so it's illegal to sell or market anything Harris Tweed that hasn't been made in the Outer Hebrides in someone's home, finished in the Outer Hebrides, dyed in the Outer Hebrides. Everything has to be done in the Outer Hebrides for it to get the Harris Tweed stitch of approval, and then it's sold in Harris Tweed in the beautiful mill, which is where it's from, and also all over the world, particularly all over Scotland. So a really nice visit, really interesting visit. Also the Isle of Harris Gin and Whiskey Distillery, another highlight for many people. And I haven't really talked too much about the food and drink. We really pride ourselves on provenance in Ireland and the UK, and particularly Ireland and Scotland. From farm to fork, everything you're eating is generally sourced 10 or 15 miles from where you're eating it. You'll often see a gin or a whiskey in a bar you've never heard of, but it's come from a local distillery. And the Isle of Harris is no different, and they use seaweed in the production of their gin, which comes from the beach just outside the distillery. So a really interesting use of local resources, but really nice distillery visit. We get a chance to try some of their scotches as well as their world-renowned gin. And then on the way back down to Edinburgh, where you're flying home, you'll get a chance to explore the Scottish Highlands, the kind of west coast. We'll go to Inveru Gardens, which has over 2,500 exotic plant species. It was built on barren landscape in the 1850s, and there's been a beautiful garden there ever since. So a really nice visit. On the way back, you'll see some of the Heeloo Coos, definitely, on the west coast of Scotland, before coming down to Edinburgh for your final night, and where you have a lovely Scottish entertainment evening before heading off on another adventure, or perhaps back to the lovely EI. So that kind of concludes the presentation. Obviously, there's always questions. And the first question is always, what's the weather like? So I always like to tackle that one off the bat. So what's the best time to visit? You know, May and September are really great months because they're outside the really busy months, but you're still hopefully going to get decent weather, but you can never rely on the weather, a bit like out here. And you could get 4 seasons in one day, so we always recommend layers when you're in Ireland or the UK. In September, you're looking at about 15 to 20 degrees would be the high. Some areas of northern Scotland might get down below 10 or 8 degrees at night, but again, as we always recommend layers, a good jacket, some good footwear if you're doing any walking or hiking, but that's kind of the weather. Best time to visit, as I said, May or September would be my favourite months. The kind of season is really April through to October, so any time of that is good, but you get better deals if you travel in May or September, and you beat the credits as well. And what currency do you need? So in Scotland we use the British pound, of course, and in Ireland it's a bit confusing, they have 2 currencies. So in the Republic of Ireland we use the euro, and then as you cross the border into Northern Ireland they start using the pound. But don't worry if you get confused, when are you in Ireland, when are you in Northern Ireland. I was in St Patrick's Centre in Northern Ireland recently, and I was buying a coffee, I gave €5, and then I got £2 in change. I was very confused why they were giving me a different currency, and then I realised I was the one giving the wrong currency, because I was already in Northern Ireland. But credit cards are accepted everywhere, debit cards, there's bank machines. Just, you know, if you are using your bank card over there, taking cash out, there's normally, well, I'm with CIBC, and they charge me $5 to take money out, so I'll just do one large transaction to take out of the bank machine if I'm not bringing cash with me already. But again, credit cards widely accepted. And is there a tipping culture? So yes, so the driver and guide obviously be very gracious of some tips, and we'll let you know how much we recommend in your documents before. But also if you're buying meals or drinks out, 10% would be kind of, you know, the norm for any restaurants, but often if you try to give someone £1 or £2 or €1 or 2 for your drink, I've seen a barman before actually saying, excuse me, sir, you left your €2 on the table here, trying to give it back, not realizing it was a tip for himself. So there's not a huge tipping culture in bars, but if you're in restaurants or you have local guides, €1 or €2 is often very much appreciated, about 10% for the restaurants. So that concludes that. I'll invite John up to tackle any more difficult questions that I don't know the answer to. But a big thank you to everyone for coming. And I'll let John take it away. And if anyone does have any questions, put your hand up and we'll answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. We're halfway there, okay? So another hour, are you okay with that? No way. What? Yeah, no, I am joking. A few more slides, so then we'll bring up Jonathan and Valerie for some more questions, giving any more specifically. But why group travel? I mean, that's what we do. We're not a travel agency. So we design the groups. We work with great partners like Royal Irish Tours and Celebrity to put the tours together. Again, the Ireland tour we did last year, probably one of our top tours we've ever done. But there's a way we can make it better. And so now we're staying in Galway for 2 nights. And we will go to that bar a couple nights. But you're traveling with like-minded people. So Ireland, for example, everybody wants to go to Ireland, so you already had something in common with your other people that are on the tour. So you get to try to do the conversations, get to know each other. You're traveling with a tour expert, somebody local in Ireland, or somebody that's on a cruise that we know kind of what generally what we're doing, and we can give some good tips and things that you can do. Cost efficient, everything's all included, you don't have to worry about it. And the last big thing for us is opportunity to be part of something, a community. Be a part of the community and you're on tour. We've seen it so many times where couples meet up on a tour, become great friends, and they travel on the next tour together. So it's a building of that community, and that's what we really want to do mostly. So now let's get to the good stuff. What are the offers? Okay? So currently our current promotions for Ireland, the Royal Manor Tour is $250 off, booking bonus. In Scotland we have $150 off per person. In the Greek Isles we have $150 off per person, and in Spain we have $250 off per person. But there's more. So we have a special offer for those who attend this week. So if you book any cruise, any of our cruises to Spain or to the Greek Isles, you'll get an extra $100 shipboard credit. If you book before March 17th, and what's March 17th? Saturday. Okay. So with Royal Irish Tours, for the Ireland tour, you get an extra $50 off, so your total promotional off is $300 per person. And for Scotland, Jonathan's graciously to give, you can't be Scottish, because give an extra $100 off per person in Scotland. So the total savings for that is going to be $250. Again, book by March 17th. And March 17th is a Sunday. All you have to do is go on our website and click book now and fill in your details. Send it to us, and you apply for this one. Okay? So that's our presentation. We'll bring up Valerie and Jonathan for any questions specific to Celebrity Cruises, Royal Irish Tours, or Target Tours. Or anybody on Facebook Live that has a question to ask. No. Any questions?
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. One back there.
I have 2 questions
Hey.
for the Irish guy.
Uh-oh. The Irish guy.
Sorry, I forgot your name.
Jonathan.
Jonathan, yes, sorry, Jonathan. You were talking about the buses in Royal Irish Tours, holding 1 passengers.
Yeah, so maximum 26 guests, but it's a 35-seater coach. There's a washroom on board, so there's plenty of space on board. And you were on last year, maybe you could. Lots of room.
2 doors.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, more than the flight anyway.
She's thinking of me, I'm 6'8".
Yeah, you will. And again, there's like sometimes if you want 2 seats to yourself, there's space for that. Like there's there's plenty of room, especially towards the back. So yeah, so there's 35
Put
seats.
me in the back.
Yeah, troublemakers in the back. And your other question?
Second question was, does Royal Irish Tours do any tours of England and Wales?
Yeah, we do. We have a lovely England and Wales classic. Maybe Target Tours will do one next year, but we have a lovely 11-day, 10-night tour that's very similar to the Manor Royal, which we do in England and Wales as well. So it starts in London, Cambridge, York, Liverpool, Chester, then down in Northern Wales, and then back to London to finish. So really nice tour.
Yeah, so how can I find out about it?
Yeah, talk to Target Tours after this, and we can share more information with you.
Sure, thank you.
Any other questions? Not for me, maybe? Anything for the lovely Valerie?
Do you folks organize the flights as well?
Yes, I'll talk about the flights. So, yes, the short answer is yes, we can organize the flights. So we changed our flight policy this year. 2023 was a really challenging year for flights. Started off, we were just saying this time last year on our Italy or on our Southern Caribbean, we ended up having to take a bus to Montreal overnight just to catch our flight out of Montreal because all the flights were canceled out of the Maritimes. So, so what we're doing is, and again, the other challenge that we had last year is people want to book their own seats. They want to be able to choose the seat that they're going to sit in. And with our group space with Air Canada, we just couldn't do it. And it's their policy. They don't allow it. So what they do is, on our group space, they would basically have the computer assign all the seats. And what we would do, and normally at the back of the plane, we're close to the back of the plane, and what we would do is we would see, okay, who's sitting where, and then we might say, okay, so we want you to sit in this seat, that way you sit beside the person that you're traveling with, and then you're going to sit in this seat. So we would, it's like a maze at boarding time, or when we get to the gate, I'm going around with Sharpie and saying, okay, I want you to sit in this seat, that way you're seated together. So that was a challenge. When people wanted to sit, they wanted bulkhead seats, we couldn't do it. And it was frustrating. The last issue we had was we were going to our river cruise, 6 out of Charlottetown, 6 out of Halifax, 4 to Moncton. And our flight out of Charlottetown was delayed. So we switched to an earlier flight through Montreal to get to Toronto to be with the group, and Montreal-Toronto flight was delayed. So we're getting on the flight in Montreal, and that group is ready to take off. And we're just, okay. So now I have somebody in the other group that's, I'm texting them and saying, okay, there's going to be somebody who's going to meet you at the airport. So it's been challenging with flights. So with the answer to that, yeah, so we will do group air. But if you want the flexibility of booking your seat, then we will tell you what flights we're on, and we can book you similar flights at probably a higher cost that you can book your seats on. We'll tell you what those costs are, or you can book on the group seats that we have secured at a different price. So once we know that 6 months before the tour is going, that we know that we've got this will be guaranteed, we will let you know what the airfares will be. You might want to, I know with Ireland, for example, with Ireland tour, with WestJet, they have a direct flight from Halifax to Dublin that gets in.
That's the one that we took. Actually, we were the main voyage
Oh, really?
for WestJet.
Yeah. So we always book Air Canada because we have Halifax, Fredericton, Moncton, and Charlottetown on our feet and into Toronto, and we fly over on the same flight. But if you want to book WestJet, then we can arrange that for you. You can arrange that. We'll tell you the flights. And then the challenge with WestJet coming back is that you're going through Calgary to get back to Halifax. So now you could stay an extra day in Dublin, and the direct flight is the next day. So stay one more night, you'll catch the direct flight. And the airfare is a lot cheaper than what we would have. So this flexibility that we want to build in, that if you want to spend, I know some people find the first night very tough. or the first day couple you arrive into Europe, then you might want to take the day flight to London. It's at 9 o'clock, get a good night's sleep, and then get to your destination the next day. So there's things that that we want to try to be flexible as possible, but knowing our limitations, that when we've got 10 eyes looking at us to fix it, we can't fix it. Because we're not that, they don't have that flexibility, our band doesn't have flexibility that would allow us to make any changes. So, did I answer your question? Okay. I know it's been a long way around, but again, it's been a frustrating year with flights. It's getting better. 2022 was luggage. Remember, everybody was seeing the pile of luggage in Toronto Airport. And we were lucky. I think we had 2 tours to Ireland, and we had 1 person that didn't get their luggage in time. But any of our groups, we had even the one going south where we took the bus to Montreal. Everybody got their luggage. So.
That's why we like the bus tours.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Okay.
One question in the back here?
Yeah.
There was mention earlier of cruise to Alaska.
Yes. So we do have the cruise to Alaska. It's in June 1st. We would have to check to see if you're interested in that. Let us know soon because I think the space is.
It's been recalled
Our
already.
space has been recalled.
We could see.
Yeah, we can see if there's any cabins available. That's June 1st, and we sail on the 2nd of June up to Inside Passage.
That's a round trip from Vancouver.
Yeah.
Is that the one you're with? You end up in Vancouver again?
Yeah, it's the cruise. The Alaska cruise is we fly out to Vancouver. We do a city, get to the hotel, do a city tour the next day, and get on the ship. Well, we finish that in Vancouver.
7 nights out of Vancouver and coming back to Vancouver.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll be around after if you have any questions, want to come speak to us. Great to see so many new faces and familiar faces. Just a question for the new faces. How did you hear about us? Was it email or Facebook? Say you already heard it by Facebook. Facebook. Nice. Email. Okay. All right. We know where market stands out. So we have some door prizes. Anybody here by radio? Because they never forgot to hear it.
You put a hand up, you're lying.
Yeah, you might have heard that 2 times it was on. But then we'll get it next time. All right, so we have some door prizes we would like to give away. And we're going to have local job. All right. So, in no order of priority or with our prizes, we're going to go with a Target Tours luggage tag and T-shirt. Jonathan,